We are on 11:05 and we are joined by Laeeqah Martin of Africa Matters. Assalamu alaikum, Laeeqah.
Walaikum salam, Fazila. How are you doing?
I'm well, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for joining us today.
No problem, no problem. I'm truly honored to be here to share the work of Africa Matters over here with all of your listeners today.
We are excited to hear about the work that you guys have been doing, inshallah. So give us a brief intro into Africa Matters.
Sure, no problem. So, Africa Matters Initiative is a youth led organization that was founded in 2015. And it was out of the recognized need to highlight African voices and, the African experience, as well as to challenge the often negative narrative surrounding Africa. So, what started as a movement through our co founders, like Rianne Olivier and Farai Mubaiwa, through trying to engage with African youth to grow, I would say, confidence within their identities and within the continent, actually grew into an initiative that is focused on imparting leadership skills, soft skills development, as well as skills and tools within social entrepreneurship to really allow young people to develop and grow tangible change within their communities across the continent.
I think this is something that is so needed, especially here in our country. So tell us a bit about yourself, and what is your role within the organization?
Sure. So, first and foremost, I have a background in applied biology and ecology and evolution. And I think that this background really allowed me to try and enter within the space of sustainable development. So, I first started out, and I'm still currently within the climate change space, but specifically within youth. I would say, participation within climate change policy. And through my work within that space, I really got introduced to the area of youth development and youth advocacy. And this is what led me to Africa Matters Initiative at the beginning of this year, really seeing the work that they do with young people and really striving to develop young people into the true change makers that they have the capacity to be. So now within the organization, I was first the program assistant, but I am now the program lead of one of the flagship programs, so the Africa Matters Ambassadors Program. And I also help and assist with the fundraising aspect of the organization, so grant writing, bespoke program development, etc.
Okay, you spoke on the ambassador program. I think we'll touch a bit on that a bit later on. But the organization, I understand that, okay, it is there to develop young people. What is the main objective when it comes to this development of youth?
Sure. So, when it comes to youth, specifically within the African context, I think that as an organization, it is our main aim to capitalize on Africa's youth boom. So, I think around 2050, it is projected that Africa will have the largest youngest population, and this has often been depicted as an economic burden. And what we want to do within Africa Matters is to capitalize the work on this and really see it as an economic opportunity. So we really want to grow the potential of African youth to be, I would say, community leaders and really grow youth-led community projects through providing them with a platform to access leadership development and soft skills training, as well as social entrepreneurship tools to really develop this community change through projects on the ground.
Mm. Now, we know that we are kind of stuck with many, many issues, from drugs to, depression, low confidence. It is like a wide range, of problems that we'd be able to identify in our country as a whole, right? Africa Matters, obviously, you have seen some of the challenges that South Africans or Africans as a whole have been going through. What are some of these that you guys have identified as main issues?
Yeah, so with regards to challenges that young people face, and I think that this is not only, secluded to South African youth, but African youth as a whole, and I think to some extent, the youth demographic across the globe. I think the first thing that we've really noticed is untapped potential. So oftentimes we view young people through the abilities to do things via certain traditional methods of success. But what we want to do within Africa Matters is to really target these non-traditional leaders who possess will and power and dedication to actually create change. And it's that untapped potential within young people that we think is something that is quite challenging for many people to really engage with, because they don't understand that untapped potential within young people to actually be able to do. And then another thing is probably accessibility. That is a major problem, not only within South Africa, but within an African context. And these are contributed or attributed to socioeconomic factors that are barriers to success for young people. And therefore, it's so important to cultivate these platforms that allow young people to actually, gain access to opportunities. And then another thing that I think is also a major problem is just general investment in the abilities and talent of young people. I think that it is important, and I think we at Africa Matters have identified that it is so important to create programming that really invests time and energy within our young people. And then the last one I think is probably sustained action. So it is probably trying to provide the tools for young people that if they have solutions, that they're able to sustain it. And oftentimes it's that sustainability that might be a problem.
And that was actually going to lead me to my next question in terms of sustainability. How sustainable are the programs that you guys have for the youth out there?
Yeah, so I think that the first thing is that the programs that we have are built around this narrative that we need to create an opportunity for young people to not only gain opportunities and skills within our program, but to then implement them within the communities via our programs. So, like I think a key thing is that our programs have rooted within them these elements of community engagement projects, so that it allows young people to not only gain the knowledge through our programs, but to also then implement it within the communities and to implement it sustainably. So we have embedded within our programs, specific modules that really try to impart the importance of creating sustainable change and sustainable projects. And through assistance from our team members, we help these young people to actually sustain projects within the communities post our programs.
And how has the reception been with the youth in these areas?
The reception has been quite overwhelming. I will not lie. We have oftentimes had great engagement with our programs. I mean, we just closed off an application cycle for two of our flagship programs, which is AMAP and She is Empowered. And we had a staggering amount of applications, more so than we ever anticipated this year, and the most that we've ever received. So I think that it shows that young people are willing, that they really want to gain opportunities for success. And it is our responsibility to really provide them with those opportunities.
100%. Laeeqah, we're just going to take a quick short ad break. When we come back, I'd like us to unpack these particular flagship programs that you were speaking on. Stay tuned.
Humanity sets the agenda.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nani. Now I'm using tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like tib black seed. You can find tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Over 33 million people have been affected by the devastating floods in Pakistan. Homes have been destroyed, crops have been swept away, and roads have been damaged. Families are mourning their loved ones while trying to survive these horrific conditions. Penny Appeal is on the ground now, delivering food, shelter, medical supplies, and water to those in need. You can help save a life by donating today. Visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference. When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
The time has just hit 11:17 and you're tuned into the Mid-Morning Talk with me, Fazila Isaac, and I am joined by one of the youth members or the leader of Africa Matters, Laeeqah Martin. Laeeqah, we were speaking about the ambassador program. Can you tell us about it and the She 2023 as well?
Sure, no problem, Fazila. So within Africa Matters, we have flagship programs. Two of these flagship programs is the Africa Matters Ambassadors Program and the She is Empowered Program. So these programs are quite complementary. So in terms of the structure, they are almost identical, with the only difference being in their target audiences. So in terms of the structure, they encompass the elements of training modules. So we train young people through modules that are focused on leadership development, skills development, social entrepreneurship, African identities, etc., etc. Like to really try and develop holistic leaders. Then we also have the elements of mentorship, where we pair participants with mentors that are, selected for their specific needs. We have them also have a practical component, which is through a community-based project that allows them to take all of these skills and to actually implement it within the communities. And then as a whole, we really try and cultivate these spaces for connection and networking between African youth. As I mentioned, with regards to the programs, the Africa Matters Ambassadors Program is a very holistic program. So it tackles things across the youth spectrum. So therefore, our target audience for that program is generally African youth. For the 2023 cohort, we've selected the age range between 17 and 29. And for the She's Empowered program, the audience for that, or the target audience for that, is African women and girls. And the target age range is between 15 and 29. So because of these target audiences, it allows nuances in the types of programming that comes out despite the almost identical nature of the structures. So unfortunately, the applications for both of these programs for 2023 has just closed on the 6th of November. So we are currently processing our applications for review and to select the potential participants for the next stage of the process, which is interviews. So we're hoping to commence with the 2023 program around late Jan to early Feb of next year.
And how many are you looking for? How many ambassadors are you guys looking to select?
So for both programs, we generally range around 20 participants per program. So we really hone in our efforts for about a year with about 20 of the selected applicants, both ambassadors and the she leaders, so that we can really invest that time and energy into really developing their capacities to be effective leaders within their communities.
Great. I think you guys are doing such phenomenal work, you know. We did speak on, you know, you guys developing some of the youth and all of the programs that you have. Tell us about some of these activities that you engage in as a foundation.
Sure. So I would say aside from our AMAP and SHE programs, we also have two other flagship programs, which is the Schools Leadership Development Program and the Youth Leadership Development Program. Also complementary, but also now different with regards to the target audience, with the schools program focusing on learners between the ages of 11 and 17, and the youth, leadership development program really focusing on the age range of 18 to 30, around about there. So these programs, while they are currently still being restructured at the moment, they are going to really focus on that element of social entrepreneurship holistically. So really honing in on that element of creating profitable change while tackling social issues within communities and really developing program activities through that. We also have bespoke programs, so we curate programs for partners that are really honed in on our key elements of leadership advocacy. In general, development. So these programs are based on partnerships, and we are able to curate programs around elements of leadership advocacy, etc. And then beyond that, we generally have either events, summits, and general workshops to really try and bring forward these messages of African identities, African solutions, and really investing in the work and development of African youth.
Now, it's so brilliant seeing, you know, an association or foundation that is putting the youth first. You know, you are putting programs in place that's meant to bring up the youth and to make them better and to improve their circumstances as well. So, what has been not necessarily the reception, or how impactful has it been to the communities?
Yeah, so we are very, very proud that within the time of our existence, we've really worked and steadily grown our impact across the continent. So, to date, across our flagship programs, we've impacted approximately 27,000 young Africans across the continent. And then, to just provide a snapshot, if I just use, for instance, AMAP and SHE as an example, our AMAP program has worked heavily within approximately 14 countries. Our SHE program has worked a bit more deeply within about 16 countries. So we really try and expand the broader range of impact of our programs. We also have a very, very solid social media footing. So across all of our social media platforms, we have over 30,000 followers really engaged with hearing the message of growing the potential and the capacity of young Africans to really be the change that they want to be within their communities. Also beyond that, we've hosted workshops, approximately around 50 workshops that have really impacted over 4,000 people, across the across the continent and the diaspora. We've also had educational webinars, approximately 34, that has really been I would say taken in by approximately 10,000 people across the continent and diaspora. So we have people tuning in, we have people really engaging with our programs, and as a result, both directly and indirectly, the work that we impart to young people, and by consequence, the work that they then follow through within the community has these great overarching impact, ripples that really try and grow the capacities of not only young people but the communities as well.
And any foundation, of course, you would need assistance in order for you to grow and become better. What does Africa Matter need in order for it to reach its full potential?
Yeah, I think that there is definitely a need to really understand these key things that will allow us to maximize our potential as an organization. For 2023, we've actually really highlighted our main priority, or one of our main priorities, as being trying to source out funding, sponsorship, and partnerships, because all of these things cannot be done alone. And they always require the assistance of those, not only those on the ground, but those within communities, and those who have the capacity to invest and donate and really sponsor these program activities. So the main aim, or the main I would say priority for us moving forward into 2023, is to really try and gather funding, resources, sponsorship, and partnership, so that we are able to really grow the impact of our programs. And I think then another thing would definitely be community buy-in. So we really want to really, grow community level solutions, but this cannot be done without great community buy-in. So allowing our young people to go into the communities, and for communities to be receptive of the work that we put forward, in terms of, either solving certain social issues within communities, or really trying to uplift communities. So it is extremely important for us to have the buy-in of community leaders and community members, so that young people within these communities that have come through our programs are able to implement the projects, and are able to work together with community leaders to actually create change on a community level across the continent. So I think those are two of the major spaces that we really need to invest in to maximize our impact as an organization.
And how can one assist with these things? Where can they contact, or even if they want to join, donations, etc., how can they do this?
Yeah, so I think with regards to the donations aspect, I think the main space that you would have to go is our website, so www.africamattersinitiative.com. And on the website, you would see our donate page, and there you can donate directly to our organizational costs, our program costs, etc. You can also donate directly to our programs. So if you go to our programs page on the website, specifically AMAP and SHE, you will then find spaces to sponsor or support the program, and you will be led to a crowdfunding space called Global Givings. And on the Global Givings page, you will be able to donate to the work of these programs. At the moment, there isn't anything up for SLDP and YLDP in terms of specific modes of donations. However, you can also contact us on info@africamattersinitiative.com, where you can actually, either donate, or reach out for sponsorship, donorship, and partnerships as well. In order to get involved with us, I think the main aim is to, try and follow us on our social media platforms. So search Africa Matters Initiative on all social media platforms, and there you will have direct access to any opportunities, any spaces that we really want, engagement with, and people can really help to I would say, get involved with the various aspects of our programs through advertised roles and posts. At the moment, we currently on the lookout for a CE, a COO. Sorry. So we are actually the post is currently out. So if you are interested, if you have anyone that is quite capable of taking on the role of COO, please do apply for that particular role. And obviously, whenever we have anything open, our website and our social media platforms are the first place to look.
And are there any age criteria when it comes to the I think she said COO, that position. Are there any age criteria for that?
I don't think so. I don't think that there is any age restrictions for that particular role.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really must commend you guys for the work that you are doing. Brilliant work, putting the youth at the forefront. Inshallah, moving forward, it grows from strength to strength. And you guys get all of the requirements, everything that you need in order for this association and this foundation to grow in leaps and bounds, inshallah. Jazakallah so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Shukran so much for having me.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
That was Laeeqah Martin, who is the AMAP program lead for Africa Matters. Don't forget to get into contact with them, check them on their socials, Africa Matters, and you'll be able to get all of the relevant information that they have. The time is now 11:30. We're going to take a quick ad break. When we come back, we are going to be speaking about career development. Stay tuned.